New game. Nickname, horror. Is Murkoff correct? Yes. The light was bright, a little too bright, if you ask me. However, it's always a bit too bright anyways. Like always, the ache that comes from my head slowly makes itself, once again, known. It ain't fun having constant pain, yet it's what I get for getting the short end of the stick. Hopefully, it won't take too long for said pain to fade into the background as it always has. Thankfully, it didn't take too much time. At least, I think it didn't take that long. All for I know, it could have taken days. No, I would have noticed if that was the case. Hunger would have hit like a truck. Don't get me wrong, it's still around, but I would have to focus on it for me to notice. Of course, there's other ways for the pain to become more noticeable, but it's fine. Everything's fine. I slid off the bed, feet hitting the wooden floor. I turned around, my eyes landing on the frame of my bed. My head starts to ache. Wait, when did I have a bed frame? I thought my mattress just laid on the floor. Paps probably got tired of it being on the floor. Apparently, I had a side table as well. Glancing towards the small table, there was a little book laying on top. There's that pain again. It's important. I know that this book is important. The pain is being an ass, too. Oh. That's right. This pain happens whenever I try to remember important information. This book journal. It's a journal. A place to write things down. Helps with memory loss, helps to keep organized. I don't remember who gave it to me, though. It hurts too much to try to figure it out. I'll stop for now, as I don't like the pain. I should go through what I've written. There are things that I must do, after all. I grabbed the journal, holding it firmly and opening it up. On the first page is a daily checklist, something I must do every day. I.e. a precaution for days like today. Should I skip the checklist? No. Daily checklist. Note, make sure that every activity on this list is completed. Do not worry about what order tasks are completed, just that tasks are completed. 1. Check newest diary entry. Check calendar if needed. 2. Take bath. 3. Wear outfit. 4. Keep diary on self. 5. Breakfast make if needed. 6. Visit boss for assigned chores. 7. Complete chores. 8. Lunch make if needed. 9. Choose activity. 10. Free time. 11. Dinner make if needed. 12. Write in diary and put on table. 13. Update calendar to next day. 14. Sleep. 15. Repeat. A smile found itself onto my face. It seems that whenever I wrote the list, I knew myself well enough that there's a chance I'd forget what day it was. As the checklist mentioned a calendar, twice, that means I must keep one in my room. It was easy to spot. Hanging on the wall, the paper booklet was open to the final page, on the month of December. The last date on it that was crossed out was the 24th. That means today was the 25th. Oh. That means it's Gyftmas. Shit, did I get Paps a Gyftmas present? I shouldn't focus on that. There's a chance the ache makes itself more known again if I do so. Anyways, I should go check the later pages. I want to be aware of what might be happening. Flipping through pages upon pages, I schemed through what is needed. More to see if I can catch a date that is much closer to the latest entry. I, honestly, should read the last few entries beforehand. Mainly so I can use it as a backdrop. Just in case there's information I can't figure out through context clues. Soon enough, I reach the page of the entry that I needed to read. 24th of December, XOXX. You go by Murkoff, sans. Every entry starts with that fact. Please, continue that trend for the next time you write in here. Okay, so tomorrow is Gyftmas. I've been told by boss that we'll have the day off. That means no chores, for everyone. None of the older diaries have any mention for why that's the case. I know boss wouldn't do it just because it's Gyftmas. There must be another reason behind it. The others, Killer especially, don't seem to question it. There's more important things to dwell on though. Hopefully he won't do any shenanigans tomorrow, but I wouldn't count on it. Killer is a menace and a half, known to be a gremlin on the best of days. Due to that, keep an eye out for mistletoes, self. If you want, you could set up a few mistletoes as well. Keep the others on their toes. Best part, they'll likely blame Killer for it. Even yourself if you have a relapse of memory in the middle of the day. There's, also, other things you could do during that day. If taking a nap doesn't sound good once you get to that point of time, I'm certain food will. Let's be honest, food always sounds good. Maybe go for a type of pastry or some type of sweets. Cookies would be best, especially if it's chocolate related, if there's even any chocolate chips left. One of the others absolutely adores chocolate. However, make sure that someone is watching over you. Apparently, I forgot to take dinner out of the oven earlier. Dust was the one who brought it up to my attention. He wouldn't lie about this stuff. Well, that checks off number 7 on the checklist. I might still check up with boss if I end up forgetting, anyways. Well, the next thing I need to do is take a bath. Problem. I don't remember where the bathroom is at. Doubt I've documented where the bathroom is at in the book, either. Does it mean that it's labeled, or somewhere obvious? There are 2 doors in my bedroom, one is to the outside while the other is, likely, a closet. Moving with ease, I opened the closer door. I blinked as I saw someone standing in the doorway. He stares right back at me, his hand raised as though to knock on it. We just continued to stare at each other. Why, does he look like me? I did see a few names in my book. It mentioned by name, Killer, Dust, and Boss. Doubt he's the boss, as I get this feeling that I'll know who boss is if I see him. That only leaves Killer and Dust. Unless this guy is one of the ones under the term of other. With how he holds himself, he doesn't give gremlin energy. Also, the lad looks a lot like me, before the famine. He keeps the hood over his head. The shadow that casts over his face is much darker, hard to see anything, not his eyelights. The eyelights, those eyelights are very pretty. For now, I'll refer to this guy as Dust. I heard him sigh, as he shook his head. High chance that this is one of my co-workers. He pointed to the other door, speaking up. Dust, let me guess, forgot. Bathroom is the other door. Came here to say this, Murkoff, breakfast has been made. Don't take too long, K big guy. He turns around, leaving me alone in my room. That was, weirdly, helpful. I wasn't expecting to get help right as I was about to leave my room. Breakfast is done. I should go grab something for self. Stop with that line of thought. Food is not scarce anymore. You don't need to think like that. I really should go take that bath. I closed the door, turn around, and walk towards the other door with a detour. To drop my journal onto the side table, as it's too important to risk. Soon, I reach the other door. I swung it open, and the sound of a creak comes from the hangess. Just as the other guy said, it was the bathroom. It's quite small, as well. Opening the sliding door that's the closet, I looked at what was in there. It's mostly filled with towels, candles, bath bombs, and the like. There's even a prescribed calcium bath powder. Heh, understandable, as I do have many scratches and scars on my bones. I know this ain't for my head, as that wound is a little too old for that. Oh, and a bit too big. Wouldn't duck my head into the water, either. Absolutely hate the sensation of something being in my skull. Back before the wound, I could do showers, ain't the case anymore. Anyways, I moved to turn the water on. The sounds of rushing water fill the room, as I turned back to the closet for the powder. I don't know how often I should use it, so to be on the safe side, I'll use it. Slowly turning the container around, I started to read the directions. So it seems that for every liter of water, I should use a teaspoon of powder. Even if liter is misspelled on it. Also, that doesn't help me at all. Another scan across the bottle weight, it seems that I missed a little piece of sticky note on the container. A quick skim, and now that makes so much more sense. On the note, it says, the bathtub holds a total of 80 liters. Typically, you fill the tub to about halfway. I trust you can do the math yourself, big guy. Heh, whoever wrote this is a snark and a half. I like him already, even if I can't remember who wrote this. He's right, as that should be 40 liters of water, and it's a teaspoon per liter. After dumping about a total of 40 teaspoons, I watched the tub like a hawk. To ensure that the tub doesn't overfill. It would be a bad thing, would make the powder less effective. Slowly yet surely, the water pours into it. Once high enough, the faucet's handle twirls by magic, turning the water off. What I wore to sleep fall onto the floor as I entered the tub. Sitting down, the warm water relaxes my old bones. It's likely that I feel this calming sensation every time I take a bath. For a few minutes, I let myself relax for a bit, eyes shutting during the time. Once I got my fill, I reached to grab the washcloth and soap. Scrubbing the bar onto the rag before placing it back where it goes. Soon enough, I was wiping myself down. Any grease and grime that might be on my bones were washed away. If there was any blood hidden in the crevices of my bones, it was, also, cleaned off. Ah, the simple pleasure of repetitive actions. A smile crosses my face as my soul starts to purr a soft melody. These are the events in living which makes life worthwhile, that is if we discount events that are food related. Once I'm done with the actions, I get out of the tub. The plug was pulled, as I watched the water slowly twirl around into the drain. Swirling, and swirling, somehow, it reminding me of someone. Don't know why nor who, and I doubt it's anything important. Anyways, the next thing on that list was getting dressed. Bending over, I pick up the clothes on the floor. These should go into the laundry basket. After all, Paps would give me an earful if I didn't do these simple tasks. Would rather not disappoint my brother, either. Soon, I was back out into my room. The clothes, of course, were disposed of into the basket. One I didn't catch during my first look through of the room. It seems that a few clothes were already in it, too. Disregarding that realization, I moved towards the dresser. There was a mirror right beside it. Opening up the dresser drawers, I looked through the shirts, shorts, pants, and other stuff too. Sweater, hoodie, dress, hoodie, hoodie selected. Done. I glance at myself in the mirror. Aren't I a pretty skeleton? The outfit I choose looked nice on me. I doubt that the others would complain about the choice of clothes, either. Turning back to the rest of the room, I moved towards the bed to pick up my journal. Got to keep it with me, as it's on the checklist and I need to ensure the checklist is completed. Once out in the halls, well, fuck. Once again, I'm in a bit of a pickle. I don't know where to go, don't know where breakfast is served. Oh, and I would rather not deal with a headache trying to remember. I should have asked Dust to wait so he could take me, wherever the food is at. Either that or ask for directions. Maybe I'll eventually remember while roaming the halls. Fuck it, I'll go wherever my feet take me. Hell, I might even run into another member of the group. Might even run into Dust again. A yawn escapes my mouth as I started to meander. With how repetitive these halls are, with each turn, with each doorway, they blend into each other. At least whoever this place is owned by, probably the boss, has good taste. The type of wood. Blinking, I noticed I was now on a staircase. Huh, that didn't take long. So I live in a multi-floor building. That's okay, I'm used to multi-floor buildings. Each step I took echoes. My hand against the railing. Soon, I found myself at the bottom of the stairs. A few more twists and turns, and I found myself in a dining room. At least, I think this is the dining room. There's the long table in the middle, with a chandelier over top. The place is empty. Heh, either I'm a bit early, or a bit late, or the others just didn't eat. I don't like that idea. They should eat. I don't want them to go through what I did. Oh, they might have just choose not to eat in the dining room, instead eating somewhere else. That honestly helps me a lot, thinking that they ate. It means that I'm doing a good job, providing food to others. Wait, I didn't even make breakfast or caught the food. The point still stands. There's another doorway with a mistletoe over the doorway. My diary mentioned that killer is the most likely culprit for that. It should be easy to remove. Magic, despite how little reserves I still have, always came to me with ease. It's nowhere near as back as it was during the famine though. While I was distracted, purple magic envelopes it. That magic took the mistletoe down. Oh, so someone else got to it before me. It's better this way, as whoever's magic that was has reserves that are much better compared to mine. I took a few steps through the doorway, entering the kitchen. Soon enough, I heard someone grumbling under their breath. Oh, and Dust's voice. I can hear Dust's voice. Killer, you're no fun, Dust. Dust, do ya want be strangled by Murkoff? Killer, I'm into that. Anyways, the point still stands. You're no fun. Dust, are ya kiddin' me? Heh, so Killer did put the mistletoe up. Also, I can finally put a face to that name. I should do little doodles for each name. Just so I can have a refresher. A quick glance around, I could see the two. One just looked like he's pouting, the other looks like he's done with the world. Of course, the one that looked done with the world was Dust. That means Killer is the pouting. A glance over to him, no highlights. Not only that, but there was this black substance dripping down his cheeks. A glance down I let out a snort, causing heads to glance my way. The sweater that Killer was wearing was wow. God, it's bad, a good type of bad, but still. That doesn't change that it's bad nonetheless. Killer, oh, hey Murkoff. You look nice. Dust, stop flirting. The lad's having one of them moments. One of those moments. What does Dust mean? Oh, he's likely referring to the relapse of memory. Yeah, that would check out. My memory has never been the best. Wait, Killer was flirting with me? I thought he was just complimenting my outfit. I mean, I like his bad Christmas sweater. The text on the shirt, it's great. Killer, oh. Well, just like you and everyone else in this damn castle, my name is Sans. Because of that, we all have nicknames. Mine, of course, is Killer. This sad sack of bones beside me is Dust. Dust, Killer, you go by Murkoff. Letting ya know just in case you forgot to write it down. There's also Cross, Dr. Bags, and our boss. Nightmare. With boss, you'll know exactly who he is if you see him. Killer, Cross is basically a monochrome puppy. Bags, well, he's the doctor of the group. Apparently we scared boss enough that he got us a doctor. Oh, and Swirls reminds everyone of him for some reason. Killer, boss is the only one who actually knows why. Heh, I must have called that guy Doc. Also, that might explain the Kalium powdered. Oh. Speaking of that container, I just found out who misspelled liter. Did he misspell it on purpose, or is it because it was misspelled on the container as well? Shouldn't he know how liter is spelled, being a doctor and all? Anyways, I should check if these two has eaten yet. Also, I kind of want to know what the hell they were talking about when I was approaching. I'll do that first. Afterwards, I'll see if they've had food. Murkoff, reminds me, how can one like strangling? Killer. Dust. Killer. Killer, you, overheard that? Murkoff, saw the hanging plant. Anyways, gonna answer? Dust, well, just ignore it. Killer's just Bane killer. Yeah, hungry, big guy. I give Dust the most unamused expression I can muster. If these two known me for any amount of time, which they should have, they'd know the answer to that question. After all, that answer to food is always yes. Murkoff, have you two ate yet? Dust, ha. Killer, yup. Dust, however, hasn't yet. Killer interrupted the other, beaming as though he's proud of it. I glanced over to Dust, my stare bearing down onto him. The younger skeleton looks as though he might be starting to sweat. Dust, Killer. Let me finish speakin', yeah bastard. Anyways, I was tryin' to say that I haven't. Wanted to ensure that you didn't have to eat alone, Murkoff. I blinked, before nodding. A glance around the kitchen, trying to get my bearings. I wanted to see if I could spot breakfast, the most important meal of the day. A few more glances, irritation starts to flood my system. Where's the food? Why the hell can I not see it? I was told. Dust, hey, Murkoff. Look at me. I glanced over towards Dust. He was staring up at me, before taking his hands out of his pocket. Soon, his cold hands touched my face. I see. I was starting to spiral. I just kept my eye on Dust as he stands there. Staring at his eyelights, those pretty eyelights. A sigh escaped the other, closing his eyes for a moment. Open your eyes again, please. It seems that Dust was unaware of my thoughts as his hands left my face as he turns to Killer. I glanced over, wait, why is he wiggling his eyebrows? Dust, not another fucking word, Killer. Killer, of course not, I don't want to ruin the moment between you two. Dust looks like he wanted to slaughter the gremlin on the spot. I don't get it. What did Killer do to cause Dust such anger? Also, where is the food? I was promised food. I still haven't forgotten about that. Killer had a wide smile, looking between us two. A smug look that makes no sense. Unless does he know that Dust have pretty eyelights? Killer seems like the type of guy to tease about that. Whatever he was thinking likely became a boring thought to him as that stupid smile disappeared. He shrugs, turning around. His voice echoes in the surroundings. Killer, anyways, the food should be in either the oven or microwave to keep it from becoming too cold. Forget which one Doc placed it. I'll be going off to bother my favorite human for a bit. Killer did a peace sign before disappearing, teleporting away. I wonder who his favorite human is. Do I know that human? I'll dwell on it later. After all, I need food. Oh, and more importantly, Dust needs food. I looked over to Dust, as he seems to let out a sigh. He looked tired. With how exhausting killer must be to deal with, that might be why. Also, knowing that he's a version of myself, yeah, checks out. I would be tired if I had to deal with anything exhausting. A glance around the kitchen, found them. Both the microwave and the oven are in sight. Time to check them. Which to check first? Oven. Microwave. Right as I took a step, a thought came into my mind. It would be quicker if Dust checks the other location. I turned back, looking Dust in the eyes. Murkoff, Dust, you check the oven. Quicker that way. Dust, big guy. Facing my body back to the microwave, I continued my one-track mission for the food. A few steps later, I stood right in front of my destination. The microwave hiding what might be that tantalizing dish. I could hear Dust already moving towards the oven. I kind of want to hold my breath for him, but, I should be holding my breath for my own area. A deep breath, inhale and exhale. Grasping the handle, and soon the door was opened. I was treated with the sight of food. Oh, so delicous food. It smells so good, too. The rich scent just floods my system. God, this makes me want to drool. This makes me think I might just be in heaven, from the scent alone. Dust, Murkoff, did ya find it? There ain't any food over here. Dust's voice almost caused me to jump. Apparently, the food had attracted my attention enough to forget about the task at hand. I let out an affirmative grunt. Dust, well, I'll get the other dishes then, big guy. I let another grunt so that Dust knew I heard him. It should be pretty simple to do what was asked. It wasn't like I was gonna devour everything. Dust hasn't eaten yet, after all. I reached into the microwave, pulling out the large platter. On it, breakfast looked ready to serve. Of course, the main part is eggs, but there's also a few other types of food as well. Cut up pieces of bacon, minced sausages, melted shredded cheese, just to name a few. As though someone tried to make an omelette but failed and scrambled it up. Can relate. Turning around, I see Dust moving around the kitchen. A lot of things were surrounded by purple magic. Oh, why did I not piece this together earlier? It was Dust who took the mistletoe down. With a bit of a shrug, I placed the platter onto the counter. Blinking, one of the serving utensils floated right in front of my face. A soft smile crossed my teeth. Grabbing it, the magic around it disappeared. Actually, I'll check with Dust if we have any tortillas. A breakfast burrito sounds much more up my alley over just scrambled eggs. Murkoff, Dust, question. Dust, what is, Murkoff? Murkoff, any tortillas? Want breakfast burrito? Dust, I'll grab them for ya. Oh, and ya can just serve whatever there is for me. I ain't picky. Another noise escaped my teeth. I glanced to the slight left, noticing that there are already plates there. He must have placed them there while I was asking the question. With ease, I scooped a serving onto what would be Dust's plate. Moving it to the side, I turned to grab another scoop for my own food. Thankfully, I didn't jump when someone tapped my shoulder. Dust stood there, holding what seems to be a bag of flour tortilla. I just stared at him, a little unamused. My hands are a little. Why is one of my hands tingling? I glanced to said hand. Oh. That would explain it. Dust was using magic to hold the utensil. I let go before grabbing the bag from Dust. Opening it up, and placing a tortilla on my plate. I handed the bag back to Dust so I could finish the serving process. He could close it and put it back away while I start to make my burrito, or Dust could beat me to it. The utensil had already moved to plop the food onto the tortilla. He, also, had taken the bag. No harm no foul. I rolled it up, finishing up what has been started. With both plates in hand, I turn to Dust as he turns back towards me. I motioned for him to follow me with my head. He didn't seem to complain, as we strolled back into the dining room. Once in, I glanced over towards the large table. Dust had pulled 2 of the chairs out with magic. A soft smile crossed my teeth again. It was kind of him to be doing these things. I placed the plates down before sitting down right in front of the plate with my burrito on it. Once again, I take a bit of a whiff, yup, still drool-worthy. Grabbing a hold of the burrito, I pulled it closer to my mouth. My jaw opens, and a large chop echoes through the dining room. The taste blossoms within my mouth. It's not just drool-worthy, the taste is divine. It's better than drool-worthy. This taste of heaven was too good for me. A soft purr started to erupt from my soul. Dust's chuckle caused me to jump. I glanced over to him. Oh, I can see his face now. He still has the hood over his head, but it wasn't hiding away the smile on his teeth. Dust, enjoying the meal, big guy? I bet that the others can hear ya purr with how loud it is. I glanced down at his plate, before a soft growl escaped my lips. Dust held his hands up, as though he was caught red-handed. It just made me growl more. Murkoff, Dust. Eat. He lets out a sigh before getting up from the seat. My growling just gets louder. Why is he leaving? As though he could read my mind, words floated out of his mouth. Dust, forgot my fork, big guy. I'll be back before ya know it. I stopped growling, letting out my own sigh. I turned back to my burrito, taking another bite out of it. Once again, my taste buds were greeted by heaven. Seriously though, how can something so mundane taste so good? I wanted to wiggle in happiness from the sensations. It was perfect, but food always made me feel this way. Soon, the food was non-existent. Completely gobbled up. I wanted to whine, wanted to eat more. I could always eat more later though. After all, I need to ensure the others ate. Speaking of, when did Dust come back? My gaze was on him. He didn't seem to notice or care that I was just staring. There was a fork in his hand, dipping into eggs on his plate. There wasn't as much on his plate from earlier as well. I continued to watch, ensuring that he was eating properly. His mouth opened, and the fork end disappears for only but a moment. It was out, and he was chewing. Yup, he's eating properly. That's good. A soft purr started to vibrate once again. My gaze softened as I just continued to watch. Even if I didn't provide this food, or even get the ingredients for it, it still helps me. That means that I'm doing good, people are fed. It means that I'm doing my job properly. An old habit likely back while I dealt with the famine. Ingrained from how often I must have done it. Likely one of the methods I did to cope with what happened to me. I quickly dismissed the thought, looking at Dust. Most of his plate was now empty. Either the lad ate quickly, or I was lost in thought long enough for it to look as though he ate quickly. I hummed softly, getting up from my seat. Dust looked over to me, fork still in his mouth. Once he was done eating, he placed the fork onto an empty plate. Dust, I'll clean up, K. Murkoff? Ya can go do whatever you want. I let out a soft grunt, before walking away from Dust. I trust him. He said he'll take care of the dishes. The next on the list was to check up with boss. Well, it would have been if I didn't already know what the chores are. We don't have any today, being Gyftmas and all. That means I should go figure out what activity I'll do. I don't feel that creative right now. I'll choose between the options I originally wrote down yesterday. Thank you for playing. I hope you found what was here enjoyable. After all, that's the end of what is currently implemented into the game. That's all for this build of the game. There are a few things planned yet not finished. Some of those ideas are the following: finalized artwork, CGS, different routes, more backgrounds, more characters, custom GUI. Please keep an eye on the gamesitch.io page for future updates. Sweet timings, sweet time.